What's up, YouTube? Video number 2. You guys got the first one showing the basics of getting the base structure of the battery mounts for a battery rack started. We went over that. Now we go to actually building the platform in the car that holds those. Will also hold the pumps, will also be mounts for solenoids, will be the part that ties everything into the car. You want that strong. Like we discussed in the first video, you don't want to mount that stuff to the sheet metal floor. That sheet metal's thin. It sits on body mounts that are rubber. You don't want to put all that weight on that sheet metal. So, bunch of different ways of doing it. Guys will cut a long section of floor to access the frame. I do them a little different. I've got a couple different ways I do them. I will use channel. Anybody that's ever seen C channel, you know, it's a C. You can go in and set it down on the sheet metal floor, mark it. If you don't have a bunch of fancy tools, it still can be done and still be done fairly clean with a drill and drill bit and a cutoff wheel. You set your C channel down. Let's say we're looking down at it. You set it down. You mark 4 points with a Sharpie. Then draw around. Then you can drill those 4 points. Take your cutoff wheel and cut C channel. And you slide it down in. It goes through the sheet metal. Can run down along the side of the frame. Grind your frame. Weld the channel down the side of the frame. Top edge, bottom edge, stout, strong, right up against the frame. And you got your stub sticking up through the floor of the trunk to be able to start building your structure and tying it in. Another option is tying into the top edge of the frame or through the frame, depending on the setup, depending on how violent you're going to make it. You know, is it going to be a lay and play, a couple of batteries to the rear, a couple batteries to the front? Is it going to be just a little more than a lay and play? You know, maybe 4 batteries to the nose, 3 or 4 batteries to the tail. You can tie into the frame right onto the top of the frame. You see a lot of guys that'll do 2x2 square and they stub off the top of the frame. They weld it all the way around, stick those stubs up through the floor. A lot of the times, you know, you can cut the same way with those squares with a cutoff wheel. Some guys will leave a big gap, some guys leave a small gap, some guys get it as tight as they can. One thing I've found that works really well is, I'm going to flip this around here real quick and show you. I will use round DOM. Hole saw through your floor. Now the carpet's still in this one. I pulled the carpet back, cut my holes, laid the carpet back over, took a razor blade, cut the carpet around. This one's going to be kind of a lay and play, so trying to keep, you know, the trunk as pretty as possible. I'm not always a big fan of leaving carpet in the trunk. Hydraulic fluid, batteries, things can spark, but this trunk carpet, I mean, if it's kept up with, then, and you keep an eye on your setup, watch for leaks, things of that nature, the carpet can be okay. So on this one, we cut our holes. I've got this one kind of set in, mocked up a little bit. But you cut your hole, then you take something like, I got this little booger here. Works really good. Set her down in the hole, grind everything real good, get your metal nice and clean to where you get a good, remember we talked before, prep, clean your metal. Get it all clean, get it set in. Then I'll take the level. Let me grab it. Oh. Put your level in. Make sure you're level this way. Make sure you're level this way. Get everything tacked. Check it again. Make sure it's straight. Make sure it's level. Now, when I say level, there's two things with level, depending on how the car is sitting. I use two different forms of a level. Bubble level, and I also use a dial indicator level. They give you as accurate as you can get of being level. So if you start with this part and you haven't put cylinders and springs and stuff in yet, or let's say you did start with cylinders and springs and you put your cylinders and springs in the car and you wanted it where, you know, it sat maybe a little higher in the front than in the back, your level isn't going to be level. It's tilted. So the way I like to do them is I'll try and get the rack and stuff set up first. I've got the car sitting on the lift on lift legs where the car is level. So my setup in the trunk will be level with a car sitting even. If the car ends up sitting a little back down, the setup just kind of looks at you a little bit better. But never had anybody say, oh, it looks like my setup is sitting in there all weird and tilted, because I'm pretty big on using the levels, using the angle finders, and trying to get things where they look correct in the car. In setting this up, like I said, I've got one side, flip you back around, already kind of mocked up. If you can see, I've got my tubes that are welded to the frame and they're tied in tight. I've got my 2x2 running that is going to be my tie-ins to those points. This is going to be a bolt-in setup. What I mean by bolt-in is I've got my stands welded from the frame sticking up through. I am going to utilize another piece of tube that will slide into that one, and then we'll drill through them and run bolts through them to bolt this rack in. That way the rack can be painted, it can be powder coated, it can be chromed, whatever. But I've got the rack base sitting in that we made the other night. I am now working on laying in my lower structure. Got the crossbar that will go and tie in from here across at a point to here. Now you can decide how you want to set that. If you want it farther forward, if you want it farther back, depending on if you're going to put stereo up here in the trunk, or you're going to maybe do stereo back here, or you do it where you can set up to add more later. You know, guys that start off don't always have the money to do 3-4 pump setups. Start with your 2 pump, get it working, get it where you can start playing with it and enjoying it. And then as you get more used to it, more comfortable with it, and you want more, you can always upgrade, and you have the ability to upgrade. But your main structure is built. So with that being said, hole saw, cut through the floor, clean up the top of your frame. Then you can take your MIG welder, you can go right down inside that pipe and weld all the way around. Then when we bring the car up to start working on the cylinders and stuff underneath, you can actually weld around the outside of the pipe most of the time. There's a few cars that the floor is pretty dang tight and you can't really get very well to the outside. Those are the ones where I tend to do the C-channel down the side of the frame, because it's a lot easier to run down the side of the frame and get your welds, go across the bottom. On the inside of the trunk, you can weld across the top and still have solid structure to the frame. Material. When it comes to building these racks, you know, steel has gotten really expensive. So one thing I will say, when you're building these racks and you're building this rack structure, don't cheap out on the thickness of the steel. Spend the money, buy a good quality thickness steel. We run 3/16 and 1/4. depending on the setup, depending on what's being put in. You know, we run thick tube. You want it to be strong. You want it to be reliable. You want it to hold up to the abuse. So don't go cheap on your steel. This piece here, look at that. That's cheap steel. You know what I use this for? When I tack these in and then I put my level on it, if it needs to be tilted this way or this way or this way or this way to get that piece level coming through the floor, that's what that's for. No part of this is going to be in this setup. It is literally used to slide in and manipulate that tube where it needs to be after it's tacked in to be straight and level. Then it gets fully welded, good to go. That way, when I put the other pieces of thick tube in the bottom and weld it to the bottom of this piece going down, and that's welded level, then this rack will slide in and slide out effortlessly. If you're not level and you're not square, and then you weld the stuff to your other piece, you will fight getting this thing in and out. It's happened to me before. Little extra time in getting all of that correct to begin with makes it a whole lot easier when you go to put this thing together later. Now, if you're doing a weld-in rack and it's not bolt-in, then you set everything down, you weld everything up, you're done. I do it this way where even if a customer down the road said, I want to take the hydraulics out, put it back stock. Okay, you can put springs back in the car, you can weld the little piece of frame that you cut out up in the front where the cylinder comes through and weld it back in to put your shock back in. And you can even take this piece and you can cut that off below the body, set these back in, weld them back in, weld the center hole up, put the carpet back over it. The only thing you might have to do is creative with your carpet where the carpet was cut out. But then there's no more rack in here. It's back stock. Or let's say, you know, you built it, you rode it, you played with it for a while, you buy a different car and you go, man, I spent all that money on hydraulics. Okay, you can unbolt it and take it out. Maybe leave the stubs sticking up for the next guy to be able to put something back in. Leave it on cylinders and springs and, you know, take the rest of your setup out to put into the next one. Just gives options, you know, gives options. But good, thick, quality material. Try not to hack, you know. Sometimes I've seen where guys will take and they cut this whole section out just to be able to put two little pieces in. Then you've got all this open area that water's getting in, dirt's getting in, moisture. Who knows, where you live, you might have some rodents running around. Real easy for them to get in the trunk and start chewing on wiring and stuff when you give them a big old hole to come in. This way, it's tight. Not too tight, but tight. And then once I get these in, you can go around with a little bit of silicone or seam sealer or what have you and go around the tube, and then she's sealed up. Run your bolts through, bolt everything down, rack in. Now, I'm still working on trying to figure out how, you know, I can keep the recording going while I'm working and not drag these jobs out longer than they already take by doing these videos and discussing and talking, repositioning the phone, trying to show you guys what's going on. I'm working on that, you know. Ray-Ban's got some really cool new glasses that are a recorder, but man, they're $300-400. So hey, if you know anybody wants to donate to the cause and send a set of them new AI Ray-Bans to me, shoot, I'll wear them every day to where everything I'm looking at you guys are looking at, and I can run my mouth and talk while my hands are still moving. Right now my hands are holding the phone, but I'm showing you some steps and as we go along. So I got to weld these two in like I did those. Then I'm going to get ready to weld the pipe to the bottom side of my 2x2 to make sure they slide in and out. Then we're going to cut our crossbar to fit in and make our tie-ins off of. So it's going to run up and tie in here. Then we'll do some tie-ins here and here to make sure that that is solid with plenty of places to weld to it and make it rigid. Then after that, we'll do what we're going to do for our hold downs. So when the battery's set in, we have a way to put some sort of a hold down over the top to hold those batteries in. Then we'll start working on pump mounts, solenoid mounts, things of that nature. I'll do some videos of that as well. Probably be kind of like this, where you see part of what needs to happen, part of what it looks like happening once it's happening. So like, subscribe, share if you want to keep seeing more of this. It'll be in multiple steps as we go along until, like I said, until I can figure out a little better way to just keep the camera running as we're doing. But in the meantime, we're in process. We're tying it to the frame. Don't put it to the floor. Don't put it to the sheet metal. It's not strong enough. Tie it into the frame. Make it strong. I'll show you a little bit more as we go along, but I need to get back to work. So tie in. Show you some more here shortly.